want to keep the stress to an absolute minimum in the first year, which is why sleep training is dangerous. It's why letting babies cry it out. It's why putting babies into daycare. It's why leaving babies for hours on end when they're so very fragile is so bad for their brains, because it gets the cortisol flowing, which is the stress hormone, but it makes this part of the brain very active. So it grows, and then and ceases to be functional in the future, like a PTSD response. So what we know is that these children are in hyper-vigilant states of stress.
ADHD children.
ADHD children, hyper-vigilant states of stress. If you stay in a hyper-vigilant state of stress long enough, you go into a hypo-vigilant state of stress, which then causes depression. So what we have now are not disorders. So there was a whole movement to take the D off of ADHD. It's not a disorder. It is a stress response. And instead of asking the right questions, which are, okay, what's causing the stress? How do we make sure that our children are not exposed to this kind of stress because they're going into fight or flight? So the nervous system, as you said, the brain has an on switch and an off switch. The on switch to stress is the amygdala, the hippocampus is the off switch. And you'd say the stress response is in a negative feedback loop. It's actually important. Like, in other words, if a saber-toothed tiger is chasing you, very important that you can activate, right? And run or fight. So the stress response is supposed to be short-term. It's supposed to be acute rather than chronic. So we can kind of manifest it. We can activate it. But then it's supposed to be turned off by the turn-off switch, the hippocampus. What we're seeing in children's brains is that the amygdala is growing very precociously large, and the hippocampus, which is the off switch, is very small. So we have this problem. As we say, Houston, we have a problem. We have an on switch going full speed, gas, no brakes, and no off switch. And that's causing ADHD, behavioral problems that are hugely rising in children in school, a lot of aggression and violence. And so that's what's happening. This is a stress response.